Hello there, good to be with you. Welcome back. Now today I'm chatting to a cruise ship lecturer, Gordon PARR. Very, very interesting indeed. And if you would like to go on a cruise and you've not been on one and you want to ask a couple of questions, this one is the guide to family cruising. So if you're going maybe with children, because a cruise is a great place to go if you've got children, because they're taken off your hands for most of the day. Hey, it's great. And this is the first time guide to cruise holidays. This answers all the questions you may want to know, like, you know, what money do I take? Do I need injections or whatever? Very, very useful little books. Now, there are two ways you can get your hands on these. Either call us on 0871 423 4444. If you do it that way, the calls will cost 10p a minute from a BT landline, and obviously other networks and mobiles, they'll vary, probably cost you a bit more. Or you can do it absolutely free of charge by email. Contact us at www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk and we'll get them off to you absolutely free of charge. Now, Gordon, tell me this and tell me no more. When we have comedians on this programme, they all, more or less without exception, have said that there is they have to alter their act slightly for American audiences as opposed to British or English audiences. What do you prefer, English or American audiences?
No difference at all. I like them both. And get different comments from different people.
Right.
There's some subjects you can't talk to them about, and other subjects you can.
What are the subjects that maybe are taboo with the Americans?
I don't think it's really taboo. But for example, if you were doing royal scandals, which is a popular talk, to talk about Mountbatten.
They won't know
who's Mountbatten and who's Paul Robeson, who was involved in that particular case. So you don't do that, but it's quite likely that the British people know about Mountbatten, Edwina, Paul Robeson, the High Court case. So you alter it, you cut your cloth accordingly.
Do you ever, or have you looked at a lecture about American scandals and presidential scandals and the Kennedys and all of that, and take that to maybe Royal Caribbean or an American ship? Do you do that?
I suspect there's some very, very good American lecturers who do that.
Right.
And it is somewhere I would not want to go.
So you know where your strengths
I know where my strengths is, and I wouldn't expect an American lecturer to talk on the Household Cavalry.
Really?
Or the Charge of the Life Brigade.
Right.
Everything is relative.
Right. Now, another phenomenon that I didn't know happened, you know, I had no idea that these existed, are auctions on board cruise ships.
That's correct, yes.
Now, I didn't even realise. What sort of things are auctioned?
Well, not all cruise ships actually have auctions.
Which ones do have them?
Well, I worked for P&O. In fact, I was lecturing on a transatlantic cruise with P&O from America. And on that particular cruise, they had a lot of people who were specialists who bought art from P&O. And it was auctioned, almost like an ordinary auction you get when you go to the auction. And they were auctioning prints and some originals.
Right.
And I got offered a position with them. This was about 6 or 7 years ago.
To actually be the auctioneer?
To be the auctioneer.
With your hammer and your gavel?
The whole thing. I must say that they looked after me very well. They sent me to America, they trained me, they put me on an American ship. I understudied somebody. And then I went and I was the auctioneer for nearly a year with P&O and all their ships. And it gave me an opportunity to go around the world. I did around the world 80 days as an auctioneer. And that was very, very nice. And
what are some of the things that stand out in your memory that you auctioned?
Well, I sold some, for example, Dali. Everybody knows Dali. So there were Dali prints. And some of the lesser-known artists and some of the American artists, but some nice art as well.
Right. And if you, I mean, there must be a unique selling point or something to going to an auction on board a ship. Do you get it at a better price than if you were somewhere else?
No, you get free champagne.
Is that what it is? Is that only if you buy?
No, not at all. No, no, no. They have champagne parties,
Yeah.
and it's a nice way to go along and relax
And
for
have
an
a
hour.
yeah.
Because the auctioneer is generally quite an interesting person, will
Yeah.
tell stories, not your average auctioneer.
Right.
And spend an enjoyable hour. You don't have to buy. You can win prizes and so forth.
Right.
It's an event.
Yeah.
It's just like the lecturer
Yeah.
is an entertainer.
Yeah.
The auctioneer too is an entertainer.
Right.
They're there for the enjoyment of the passengers.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that.
Do you get any women auctioneers?
Oh yes, they're very good.
Really?
Very, very good.
Well, we're good at getting the money out of the men. That's what it is.
I think a nice smile is nice. So mostly, if you look at what women do,
Yeah.
they do it better than men in many respects.
Do you know what? I'm warming to you. I think you're absolutely right
believe me.
there. So you've, gosh, you've never stopped really. You get probably, I don't mean easily bored, but you have to have something to fill your mind. Have you got any other business ventures that you're going to take up in the next year or two or three?
Well, completely separate from, no, I haven't, no. What I do is what I do, and I like to think I do it well, and
Yeah.
that's important to me.
What do you do in your spare time, if you have any, Gordon?
What do I have in my spare time? Do you really want to know?
Oh, I really, really want to know.
Well, I enjoy working on my work. I really do.
Right.
I think that's what has been very, very much part of my life and,
Yeah.
and my direction. So I'm quite happy at the moment. I'm working on a lecture on VC heroes and the Victoria
Right,
Cross.
right.
And when that's ready, I'll present that to people and I'll do a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that.
Right.
Right now I'm looking forward to, with my partner, going on a cruise. We're going off to the Baltic
Yeah.
on I think, the 9th of May with Thompson.
Yeah.
And looking forward to that. And 14 very, very nice days.
Yeah.
So I have to prepare for that. I've got to be on the ball. That my audience will expect that of me.
Yeah.
And you know something, what is very nice to this? A man of my age and experience.
And you won't see 60 again, will you?
Never again.
Right, there you
Never
go.
again. I wouldn't want to. Well, it wasn't a particularly good year. But to give pleasure to people
Yeah.
and say, I really did enjoy your talk. And will you join us for a drink? Will you be our guest for a drink? Or
Yeah.
can we join you this evening for dinner?
That's lovely. So
And that's really nice,
you're
isn't
making
it?
friends, aren't you?
I have a
Yeah.
whole host of people at Christmas send me cards. I
Yeah.
send them cards.
Yeah.
And it's nice, and you appreciate that. And in fact, maybe not known, widely known, but you do get marked on your performance on the ship.
Really?
Oh yes, very much
Who
so.
does the marks?
The guests do the marking.
Right.
The guests have a form, and on that form it has how they rate the catering. Tick,
Yes.
good, indifferent, very good, etc.
Yeah.
And the same with their entertainment
Yeah.
and the lecturers and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's very important that you get a high rating.
And when you're deciding on a new subject to research, to lecture on, do you choose something that you've got a personal interest in, or do you look for something that you think will have the widest appeal?
No, what I enjoy doing and what I become knowledgeable on.
Right.
And that's very, very important to
Yeah.
me. And I mean, basically, I'm still doing the same lectures as I was doing sort of
10 years ago.
10 years
Yeah,
ago. Not
yeah.
a great deal different.
So what you do really is you're expanding your repertoire of lectures by finding new ones.
Yes, what happened when I started originally, it was slides. And then slides developed onto PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And now what happens, when I finish a talk, there's a DVD
Yes.
which I've recorded,
Yeah.
which gets then played back through the TV system of the guests, so they can watch what I've been doing.
Oh, right.
So often that is the case with many of the cruise
Yeah.
ships.
And I was very pleased to hear, because you told me that your late wife, she passed away about 8 years ago, but you have met another lady.
Yes, I'm very, very fortunate.
Isn't
yes,
that lovely?
yes.
Where did you meet her? On a ship?
No, I didn't actually. No, I met her in Southport. She's a lady from Thailand.
Yes.
But she's now a British national.
Yeah.
And we've now been together for 3 years.
Lovely.
And we've been cruising together.
Yeah.
And we get on very well. And she's very much part of my life.
That is lovely,
Yes.
because as I said to you young Gordon, men aren't meant to live alone.
Absolutely not. No.
So what advice would you give to anyone that is a cruise virgin, they've never been on a cruise ship? What sort of first cruise, as a couple, maybe in 40s or 50s, where's a good place to go or a good ship to start on?
Not too big. Not too big. I mean, say the Thompson ship, which we're going with in this forthcoming May, and which a number of other lecturers were required for, it's 1,200 people.
Yeah.
That's very nice, a very cosy ship.
Yeah.
You can get around. If you have any mobility problems, no problem. Okay?
And not only that, you don't get lost.
You don't get lost.
Yeah, because you can get lost on a big one, can't you?
Well, if you want another experience, then you go with Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking at 3,500 people.
Oh, too big for me. Well, listen, Gordon Parr, it has been a pleasure having you on. Thank you very much indeed.
My
See you
pleasure.
soon.
Anytime.